Hey guys, here's your best fight friend. It's me, Rachel, solo, here again. And today, I want to talk about Anderson Silva and Logan Paul. So, this actually got leaked, I want to say from Dylan Dennis, because he shared a screenshot where he wanted to talk about, these people come calling to me. But in the screenshot, part of the message from the person was, will you fight on the undercard for this main event, which is Anderson Silva and Logan Paul? And, he doesn't even mention that, slyly. Whatever, I don't actually know. But that was the first, small little thing. And then, of course, I went to Logan Paul's feed. I went to Anderson Silva, nothing. But I saw, I think yesterday, ESPN had a report. And so a manager for one of the guys has yes, we got talks going, this is a legit possibility. So let's just go with it, right? Let's just go with this being a legit possibility and talk about it. Anderson Silva, Logan Paul. When I saw another report, SB Nation, who said something about fans being angry about this being made, and I'll give you that. There's gonna be fans angry about everything, right? But there is a thing in the combat sports community where people are no, you got to do things this way. And I think it's fine to have the varying opinions. What I'm not a fan of is this is the right way and I'm better than you because I think this. So if you saw the video I did yesterday, I talked a little bit about that, where fighters have an opportunity to go the prize fighting route where they take fights where they make the most money, or they have the opportunity to go the route of I'm going to work my way up through the ranks, I'm going to get the titles and do everything in the, right order. And that some people think going the prize fighting way that there's something less about that it's better to do this, and so you have that that air of superiority, I did this the better way. I just have the opinions, but I don't think there is a better way. So these guys are getting inside a ring, and this is the way they're getting inside a ring. So let's just, I wanted to share my thoughts about this. I'm legit excited, guys. So, first of all, Anderson Silva. I feel like I got on the Anderson Silva train. I was late to the game because I was late to the MMA world, and so I've missed out on a lot of what is the greatness of Anderson Silva inside a cage, but also Anderson Silva the person. And so I don't spend a whole lot of time watching content about various fighters because I spend time editing and doing stuff for what Kelsey does, what he covers. So Kelsey interviewed Anderson Silva. I'll link it there if you want to watch it. It was before his fight versus Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. So his first fight, now, inside a boxing ring. And I just love this guy, right? I'm hey, Anderson Silva, do you have a need to have, can I be part of your family? Do you have a need for a house guest that just admires you? Because I can be that person. Anyway, yeah, I love Anderson Silva. Here's the other thing. He looked fantastic inside the boxing ring against, he won. He beat Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Who thought, all of us boxing fans knew there was a chance. We're familiar with Julio Jr. here. We know what that is, but when you looked at things, you were what, Julio's going to fight somebody and lose? That's not usually how this happens. Silva was definitely the B-side coming into this. And so, but he did, and he looked so good. Do you remember when Conor fought Floyd? Of course you do. You remember when Conor fought Floyd, right? Conor got in there, and I was what, this is alien movements. I didn't watch MMA at the time, and I was I'm used to watching boxers. This is not a typical way a boxer holds their body and throws punches in the stance and things like that. Well, Silva came in, he looked like a boxer. I was his striking, he was able to take that and move it into the boxing ring. I thought very, very well. I love the way that he looked. So, now let's talk about Logan Paul. So, we've seen Logan Paul a few times. He's got one professional fight, which was, I believe, against YouTube guy KSI, that he lost. remember, I'm almost positive. My recall's not great, which is why I depend on Kelsey. But when I saw that fight, like I liked the way Logan Paul looked, like his stance and the way, but he wouldn't let his hands go. And then we just saw him against Floyd Mayweather. There was improvement for Logan Paul there. People were surprised. We were kind of surprised that he went all 8 rounds. But, Floyd Mayweather's also getting older. But, so it was interesting. Still, people are like, Floyd won that fight, although that was an exhibition bout. No official, winner there. So now it brings us to Anderson Silva. And I'm like, okay, so, all right. Maybe Logan Paul's path in boxing is he's going to work his way up via losses. Because I just don't see him beating Anderson Silva. After seeing Anderson Silva against Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., who is whatever you think, he's had ups and downs in the sport and has had trouble with, I'm going to say my opinion, is self-discipline, not to I'll let Julio manage his own life, but just an outsider, that's my opinion. But he is like a boxer through and through. Logan Paul is still very young, very green in this sport. So I'm having a hard time seeing that. So I'm like, what is Logan Paul's plan? He's going to come up through losses, and whereas Jake Paul is going to come up through wins. There's different ways you can come up in the sport, and you learn a lot every time you get inside the ring, win or lose. So I'm curious about this. I'm curious what they're going to sanction the weight at. Hilariously, Julio Jr. came in overweight in his fight against Silva in their last fight. So let me see if I can recall. I want to say their fight was, Silva probably came in at 180, something like that. I could be wrong against that fight. Now, Logan Paul, I believe, came in somewhere around that versus Floyd Mayweather, but that was an exhibition. They had whatever. It's so ridiculous, that fight against Floyd Mayweather. Oh, boxing, I love you. But this is going to be size-wise much more even. Age-wise, very uneven. Experience-wise, I think that's going to Silva. So I am very, very curious about, so all I know is this: Logan Paul and Logan Paul's team seems like they are saying yes to this. Remember, I started this video, we're just assuming this is a done deal and we're talking about it. So that they say yes to this, I'm like, okay, all right. Out of all the other people in the world that you can have a exhibition style prize fight. So anyway, don't know if this is exhibition or pro. I would love to see this pro. I would love to see, I'm excited for Anderson Silva because he legitimately wanted to get inside a ring, said it was a dream of his. He's wanted to do this before. I believe there was talk about him and Roy Jones Jr. some years back, and then even more recently when Roy fought Mike, but I don't know what's going on with that. He ended up in the ring with Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. was a B-side, and here's what I love, he was like, I want to do this. I'm going to go fight. It was just such a surprise. It was in Mexico. It was very, it wasn't a U.S.-based marketing or promoted, type event. It was definitely, out of Mexico. And Julio was like, yeah, I'll go there. I'll go inside. Not Julio. Silva was like, I'll go there. I'll get inside the ring in Mexico. And then, lo and behold, not only the commentators of that event were very, even, they were not, I didn't sense any bias. They were, for Julio, which I totally thought it would be lean that way. The judges scored it for Silva. It's fantastic. Anyway, I'm legit, I'm excited to see this. I really love Anderson Silva. So, hey, let me know your thoughts in the comments. What do you think? You think this is ridiculous? Hey, we can all have our opinions, and I'm totally down for that. So share your opinions about this in the comments. Let me know what you think. And thanks for tuning in. You're watching via YouTube. Like, comment, subscribe. If you're listening via podcast, review and subscribe. Very much appreciated, and I'll see you next time. Best fight, friends.